Welcome to the Realty Plus Real Talk series, where we talk to industry experts for their honest views and opinions and real facts and figures. And today, to share his views, we have with us Mr. Ashish Sarin, CEO and founding member of Alpha Corp, which is one of the most professionally managed real estate firm of Delhi NCR. Mr. Sarin, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
And Mr. Sarin, first of all, let me extend our best wishes also for the company's foundation day that was celebrated yesterday. So that's a
Years.
great achievement. How many years now, Mr. Sarin, for Alpha Corp?
Seven. Alpha Corp. So we started as Alpha G Corp, which is 17 years. Alpha Corp has been almost about 5 years since
Okay.
I took over.
So it's a young company,
Yes.
but with a legacy.
Yeah. So, but my experience in real estate goes about 25 years, starting from Great Eastern Shipping Company.
That's right. That's right. You are a finance expert as well, as we know. So, Mr. Sarin, first question is that Alpha Corp, apart from real estate development, also has verticals of design studio and facility management, which is rare for many, real estate development firms. So, what was the reason, the company got into these segments? What prompted the company to?
So that's a very interesting question because, I always tell everyone that when you are into real estate or when you're making buildings, you're not just making only buildings. There is a comprehensive solution that you have to provide to your buyers or your clients if you're in a commercial building. So and actually the facility management business actually started with by chance because when we started operations in real estate in Delhi, we did not we realized that all these are very high quality buildings. They're high precision equipment installed there, and we need somebody to really take care of these, the management of them. Unfortunately, in those days, there was nothing, in India, and we did not have international property consultants. We didn't have property facility managers. So that prompted us, why don't we start managing it ourselves? I mean, nobody knows better of our machinery than us, So along with the manufacturers and everyone else, we created a team to start facility management of our own projects to start with. And that actually went on to a multi-level situation in the sense that we then got onto retail malls that we built. And then we, in addition to the facility management, we also went on to the mall management. Again, we could not find anyone. We had international, agencies coming to us, telling us, that you should do it in this manner. It just didn't click to us. We thought we should do it ourselves. So we understood, we tried to learn it, and we created our own mall management company. It was a fantastic effort. Going on, we went on to residential. We felt that there are so many condominiums and all around and houses and everything, and where we do not have any support in terms of infrastructure management, which actually prompted us to get into the residential work. So till about 4 years or 5 years ago, we were only concentrating on our products. We had enough on our plate and we used to just manage our own. 5 years ago, we thought it's a good time to really take the facility management to the next level. And that's the whole concept of this whole thing. So I'll tell you, I think a good building is not just a good building which is made, it is also how it is maintained. And testament to that is all our products across the verticals, whether you take it as malls or residential buildings or commercial offices, are so good and just so well maintained that you can go and sleep in my DG room and you will not find a spot of oil or water or dust, nothing. You can just go and sleep there. It's so clean and nice, which is a concept. It's a theory. One has to really keep your products, the lifespan of these buildings and the machineries. We have had our plant rooms or chiller plants running for more, at least 25 to 30% time period more than what a normal chiller plant would work. So that was the concept behind facility management. And now we have kind of gone out in the market. We are managing some of the best condominiums in Gurgaon, and gradually we hope to take it to all over the country. Right. So that was the facility management. Design studio is another interesting element. The design studios, we again thought, once you make these houses, and let's say you buy a house in our complex, which I'm sure you will one day, when So when a builder makes a house, there are different levels. One is like really high-end houses where you've given everything, but there is a sensibility of the buyer. He wants his things to be done in his own way. And most of the housings, and especially in areas which are not really the poshest locations in mainstream cities, are really far off. The cost of construction does not warrant you to put in everything. So you kind of measure what kind of construction costs you're going to be doing, and with relation to the offerings that you're going to be making to the buyers. So when we did our projects, which are not really mainstream Gurgaon, but maybe on the Dwarka Expressway or some other places, we realized that all the buyers, they want to do something. They want something extra. So if you have to do your house or in an apartment, you will have to actually go to a carpenter. You'll have to go to an electrician, and you have to get all these guys separately, and then devote time and effort. If both of you are working, your husband and wife, you're done, because you only have Saturdays and Sundays perhaps to get it. It's a pain, to get, because these are all, you have to get people. So we thought, why don't we give a solution which is with a guarantee and with the quality that people are really expecting, and they don't have to run around. They have a complete satisfaction of giving it to one. What it does, it just adds value to my customers. Don't earn too much of money in that, but it's a service that gives me the ability to reach to the end of the value chain. From that perspective, we started, and we had phenomenal response in this. So yeah, and so COVID is over. Maybe in the next 2-3 months, everything will be fine, and then we are going to be really going ahead full steam on that as well.
That's right. I think that is
it's a new effort.
Consumer centricity, I believe, catering to the consumer. And as you rightly mentioned, maintenance of buildings is one of the biggest challenges in India. Best of the buildings you see after few years, you cannot recognize it. So maintenance that taken care of, that's again a huge initiative. Also, Alpha Corp, apart from, as you mentioned, in Delhi, in Gurgaon, Noida, and Faridabad, which are the NCR regions, also has projects in other tier 2 cities. In your experience, what are the factors that are driving the real estate market of these cities? Because many of these cities are doing much better than, in fact, the metro cities.
So again, this was the philosophy we started when we started Alpha Corp way back in 2004. We realized that you see, all across the globe, if you go to, so let's say New York, so a bulk of population lives in the outskirts, which is away from the main Manhattan where the work is. So Long Island, for example. Okay, so there's a very good infrastructure. People live there and come to work here every day. We really thought, and how Delhi and other metro cities are congested. There's so much pollution. So the concept that we started, and we were probably one of the first ones to really go into these cities. Mainframe developer going into these cities, was that we should be able to give the people who are living in Delhi a better environment, and yet they should be able to commute easily to their workspaces, which are probably in Gurgaon or Delhi. There have been talks in the government about revamping infrastructure in terms of connectivity between all these cities which are surrounding New Delhi and Gurgaon. Which has actually started getting fructified now. So there's been a spate of announcements, from the government. There's a rapid rail transport system that is being planned from Gurgaon. You can reach Karnal in probably 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of concept, we started with that. The infrastructure got a little delayed and it was lagging. However, there was a strong intrinsic demand. So there's a lot of, so for example, let me take a small example of Karnal, and that will also give, it's a typical case, and all the others also get covered in that. Karnal is a rice belt. It has got fantastic trading activity. At one point in time, the government was also considering it to become the capital of Haryana. Our chief minister is from there. Mm. So we found a huge amount of demand coming in from within so our idea was that we will have people coming from outside, from Delhi and other cities to come, Chandigarh, for example, to work to living there and coming to work in these cities. But while we were constructing and while we started getting them, we found there was so much of traction and demand in Karnal that we thought, well, okay, we need to buy more. So we started with 100 acres and we reached up to about 450 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the kind of vision that we had. Likewise, we experimented a very interesting place called Fatehabad. Many people have probably not even heard of it, right? It is near Hisar.
Okay.
But somebody said this is a very nice parcel of land on the highway. And we said, just we acquired about 50 acres. That's it. There's a small thing. And I tell you, these projects are so beautiful. I mean, given an opportunity, I would go and live there, you know. And it's openness. It's like kind of, it's a simple lifestyle. You have no pollution for sure. Okay,
Right.
there's no traffic.
Right.
Once this whole infrastructure, and this is how it is going to be going forward 5 to 10 years from now, you will see that people are going to be moving out of the main. People moved out of Delhi to Gurgaon for this reason. Okay, and then the development of Gurgaon started off.
Right.
You talk about 20 years ago, we didn't see anything in Gurgaon, barring some of these colonies. But that's how it works. So I think in the next 5 years, all these cities which are in and around Gurgaon, Meerut, for example, again, a fantastic product that we make. So these cities are going to be the connectivity hub. So like even Meerut, they're making an expressway. There's RRT is going there as well. I think that's the if you really want to decongest cities and make the cities more beautiful, you have to give more infrastructure to the surrounding areas so that people can spread out and live. That was the reason we started going to tier 2, tier 3 towns. And I'm very happy that, yes, we have been fairly successful. And coming to that other point that you said, you're right, absolutely. We were shocked to see when demand in main cities has really plummeted. Karnal started selling so Karnal is basically plotted development. So it's a piece of land, you know, that one is buying. I think it's a mindset, you know, effectively that, you know, we suddenly started getting a lot of demand in Karnal. I mean, where I was not selling in the COVID times more than 1 or 2. In the latter part of the COVID lockdown, I started selling online about 8 to 10 units. You know, that is a lot compared to what compared to people not even seeing what the product is.
Right.
I also did a lot of initiatives online, but the fact is, you're right, absolutely, that it is a very interesting observation that the tier 2 cities have started really coming up. My Meerut project has really come up. The prices have gone up. I mean, where people are planning to reduce prices, Karnal and Meerut prices have started going up because there is suddenly a lot of demand coming in.
Is it a first mover advantage also because there is no brand name there, and you know people now want to go with a brand name, you know, for the trust factors?
It is more than the brand. I will tell you. Yeah, of course, brand is a subset of the quality of work you do, but we have really made our projects really beautiful. So I mean, very good planning, very open spaces. The quality of construction is very good. And that is the reason people want to, because otherwise there are government colonies also over there. There are sectors there. There are some of the private developers who are also there. But I think we have created that niche where we have considered as one of the good ones.
Yeah. So one is the quality, and I think you know the trust that goes with the brand name. So I think people are more confident in buying into
I guess that's it. A little humbled on that, but yeah, I guess that's what.
Because there have been a lot of reports that now people are prefer to buy with the larger groups with the brand names, you know, with ready to move in properties. These are some of the trends that we are seeing. Another, you mentioned about infrastructure, and government is focusing in a big way on infrastructure. A lot of announcement. In fact, they have recently announced a lot of incentives and announcements for industrial parks, SEZ parks, data parks, you know, to incentivize their establishments. They are but high capital, you know, capital intensive segments. Do you see, developers till now have only residential and commercial and some part of retail in their portfolios? Do you see more developers now getting into these asset classes, warehousing, especially because of e-commerce, the way e-commerce is going in India? Are you seeing,
You've given the answer
diversification?
yourself, actually. So I'll tell you. So COVID has also created a lot of opportunities for our country. And the first part that you rightly said is that because of e-commerce being such a huge, we all know, sitting at home, we are ordering whatever. My wife wanted to order a Bacha masala, you know, which I can't get anywhere. She just goes online. So eventually, all these things will need some bit of infrastructure. for an e-commerce platform, the biggest infrastructure is where you can deliver right on time immediately. 1 day delivery, 2 days. That's the competition. Okay, so the big guys are actually looking at these elements. But not only the big guys. The way our government is working on the farmers and the sector, the farming sector, uh, the logistics and the warehousing for those are also going. In fact, in last budget, the government has announced initiatives also on warehousing
Right.
for. So I think personally that yes, absolutely. So one is of course the e-commerce, the local farming sector, which is going to be needing a lot of warehousing because most of these things are perishable, and you need to really, so transportation is if once we get the infrastructure in, like we are getting freight corridors all across. Once that is done, then it is faster movement of goods from or perishable goods also from one place to another, and therefore they will need some bit of warehousing, which is widely prevalent outside. In fact, we have been lagging a little bit on that. The third thing that I see is that due to COVID, we are actually seeing a lot of manufacturing companies really coming into India, which means that there is going to be a pent up demand for a lot of things. When there's a pent up demand, there has to be so industrial parks, for example. We have an industrial park in Amritsar. Pre-COVID and post-COVID, we are seeing immense differences because people are now wanting to have. They're also wanting to move out of main cities to outer areas where it is the land is cheaper. Ultimately, it is the cost that comes in. So yes, absolutely. These three, four things, industrial parks are going to be really a big success once. So Apple is already starting manufacturing, through its different manufacturing subsidiaries. Likewise, Samsung for that matter, and like many other companies which are planning to start up manufacturing units. They can't do it in Gurgaon, or they can't do it in main cities. They have to really go out because they need larger spaces. That will really prompt up the industry. And once the movement starts in, then you have to create those special logistic and manufacturing industrial parks where you will be promoting large scale manufacturing. So yes, I guess absolutely. This is a very interesting. We have started one initiative. We may look at warehousing also. We never worked on that sector, but yeah, we have some land in Jaipur. We are also looking at kind of working out
But
something
you
on
see,
there.
mostly it will be the large developers who have the capability and the resources only entering into these segments.
Um, yes, but also making a warehousing. So again, resources is not really the main thing. It's the concept of how you want to use your knowledge bank. So I definitely see smaller developers in smaller towns also planning to get into that. Once this, it's really not there right now. Okay, it's like it's sporadic. It's warehousing is really started coming up now, but the others are not so, because people have started industrial parks. They've not worked out because the government has not been supportive at some point in time, previous governments. So I think now is the time when all developers, but mostly large ones, will like to go because that's a consolidation. There's a mass which only
Right.
a large developer can do.
Right.
You have to monetize your assets or your stock at some point in time. How do you monetize if you don't have, if you have scale or if you have mass, then it's easier to monetize.
Right. But these are emerging asset classes where we
Absolutely.
see
I totally.
many real estate developers now foraying. Coming to the commercial segment, again, there is a little paradox here where a lot of IT companies, a lot of corporates, organizations are, they have announced that they will continue with remote working and put hold their leasing plans, etc., on hold. But on the other hand, we are also seeing large PE deals happening in commercial real estate. REIT's performance has been, substantial in this commercial real estate again. So, what is your take on this? How the commercial real estate sector is going to
Yeah.
do, and why there is a confidence of Indian and international investors in Indian growth story.
So I think I'd like to break it into two parts. Okay, let's not mix commercial real estate and REITs. REITs is a consequence of an effort, but they're separate, completely. So let me first talk about the commercial real estate. You're right. Many companies I go to US pretty often, and I'm seeing the kind of movement out of Manhattan to, people have closed down their offices. Many of these buildings are like ghost buildings. There's no one there. So, I, and there are everybody, some people are saying that no, you cannot keep working from home all the time. You need to go to offices. On the other hand, many companies are saying that why it's doing so well. I mean, we can still we don't have to have an office in the main cities and pay for high real estate cost. We can kind of work like that. IT companies, especially, for example, you have programming staff. You can work from home. So no one knows anything. First of all, what is happening? Okay, it'll still take some time for all of us to gather some experience.
Right.
And this is my personal views. Uh, you can say whatever you want, or anyone can say whatever you want, whatever they want. The fact of the matter is, we have both the scenarios in present. There are companies which I've been talking to who have also thought about reducing their commercial office space. So if somebody is having, let's say, 1,000,000 square feet, they said, "Yeah, good with 200,000 square feet." What we will do is we will have 25% of the staff coming in every time, and rest of it can work from home. They do a rotational shift kind of a thing.
True. Yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, so you get the best of both the worlds. You're so you are at home, you're in working, you've got everything going good for you. The problem there is that if you continuously sit at home and work, everybody, and we have not seen this ever. Okay, so this is a new phenomenon. Nobody has seen sitting working at home being a factor ever we had imagined to be coming in our lives. Now that is also another problem. Okay, while it is good, initial days are very good. You're staying at home, you want to watch, your children are there, everything is good. No cost of, but that cannot be. We cannot think this as a continuous phenomenon, because you don't know how things will really pan out. My take is that definitely some companies will reduce their commercial office real estate and try to do more work from home. But there will be other companies which will probably not be, or they may do a hybrid system of something like that. But yeah, no one knows anything as to what is going to happen. Commercial real estate has a very good so from a returns perspective, in especially in India, outside India is a different element, but in India, residential rented space and a commercial rented space have got different returns criteria. Okay, so commercial obviously is a higher return. Residential is negligible. Somewhere you get not more than 1.5%. So from that perspective, anyone putting in big money will definitely like to go in for commercial. It's also more stable. You have corporate clients which have long-term leases, whereas in residential you have lease turnover, so like over year. People may or may not be there. You have vacancies and this and that. So that's the reason why people prefer commercial office space. But then there is also a factor of demand. How much of commercial reality can a city or a country take? So absorption is one element. But for India, if we are a growing market, we'll be having many more companies coming into India. So we are not really worried about that part. Some minor hiccups of ups and downs, but I think mostly we should do well in commercial reality. If this work from home thing is kind of settles down in some manner or the other, which no one I think can give an answer. We can just kind of speculate as to what is going to.
Yeah. But as the reports indicate, yeah, the future seems bright for commercial real estate. Everyone is pretty bullish on that, and maybe we'll see offices in a new avatar, maybe new way of working. Probably we'll see in future. But coming again, you said India is a growing country, and again, housing is one of the biggest demands. India has a huge housing demand. How and government has taken a lot of steps recently, especially to address the challenge of COVID and to boost demand in this segment, for making it easier for first time home buyers to buy homes. These are short term measures to boost demand, but Indian real estate has some issues and challenges which it has been putting across to the government repeatedly. According to you, you are a veteran of the real estate sector. What are the long-term solutions that can really be taken care of by the government, so that the residential or the housing real estate segment of real estate can become a major contributor to the economy?
Yeah, so that's a standard question, which is like in everybody's mind, But so I'll tell you, my take on this is that what if I've represented this to the various associations that are working on this. I think the most important thing is the government to really promote an environment of demand creativity. Okay, that is the first and foremost thing. Because unless that is there, all the other things which are going to enumerate now are not going to be really coming down to being fruitful. So the government and like this government is actually doing that. The moment we have more manufacturing activity, our existing industries are kind of scaling up their operations, which will mean that there will be more employment, and more employment means more disposable income in the hands of people. Reasonably lower taxes. This is a very critical thing. I always tell that while a corporate has different deductions when you go for calculation of income taxes they have to pay, a salaried class more or less doesn't have anything. Barring a few things here or there, we do not have really so we are also spending. People who are working here in companies, they also spend. So moment you start giving those deductions and therefore resulting in a lower tax, which will also result in more disposable income in people's hands, real estate demand is definitely going to go up because people are the avenues of investment and everybody. And as Indians, we also resort ki ghar ke hamare upar chhat honi chahiye. That is the most important thing. People don't really want to keep living. I think there is some sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I don't know which part did you lose out on?
Yeah, you're talking about the mid segment, they need incentives.
Yes. So the demand is actually going to be coming from there. So pepped up manufacturing and industrial activity, leading to more employment. The other is infrastructure. You have to start building infrastructure all across. Only then we'll be able to have. See, we are not a very rich country. Okay, so there is the middle class or the lower middle class needs housing. Whilst the government is pushing for housing for all, the housing for all can only happen within that affordable segment, not in New Delhi or Mumbai or Gurgaon. It's just not possible because the cost of land is very high. So you have to go out. But what is the fun of going out if I go 20 kilometers out of the city, but I still don't have any place to go? I don't have any recreation facilities. I do not have any transportation facilities. There's no security. We don't know what will happen. So from that perspective, first and the most important initiative has to be taken by the government to boost the real estate, which will be done by boosting up the other segment, employment. Yeah, I think again it's kind of breaking off. Right? We have allied industries, which are already generating a lot of. So once the real estate goes up, you see. Also, if you have historically also ever since real estate, going up is a parameter of your economy doing really well. So yes, so that is the first thing. The second thing I think what the government should do, other than the demand, is that we should try and get the government should give more options of financing. Financing in India is still very expensive. If you look at it, I can't hear you. You said something, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Sarin.
Swapna, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, Mr.
Sorry,
Sarin, please go
I
ahead.
was not. I thought you were saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that yeah, the government needs to really work on elements of financing, giving better financing opportunities to builder. I'm not saying just give loans left, right, and center, but create that atmosphere where banks are I know, and I will not take names, but when you go to the banks, they look at you very skeptically. Whatever has happened, that does not. We always have to look in future. Okay, the NPAs are there. Things have not gone as per plan, but that's okay. I mean, that's how it's just like life. If not everything goes as per plan, but you just don't stop living. And therefore, the government should take initiative. And this time, the government has taken some initiative, and I hope they really translate on the ground. Which is the most important thing. Inventory. Government needs a lot of housing for its employees, even the government employees. they could come out with a scheme that fine, we'll buy the houses, and they don't even have to pay. We will do a swap transaction with banks, and there could be numerous structures. There are specialists who are sitting to do these things. So financing options are easy available. Financing options for the builders is the other thing that the government should concentrate on. Third, of course, is that you have to give incentives in terms of property taxes and the allied stamp duty. I was very happy to hear, I think Karnataka or even
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra.
Yeah.
These are the two states who have actually started taking the initiative, or so taking the stamp duty, even Karnataka, I believe that either they're doing
Right.
it or they
Right.
have already done it. So we have, in Haryana, that's not done. It's going to really boost up the, we are all holding inventories. What are we going to do? And if the government wants, I was reading one of the government officials think that you should telling the builders that you should go and sell whatever you want at whatever price you can. How does that work? You're going to really destroy the market. That's not how things work. It's a business. So from that perspective, these are the few things where the government starts looking at it favorably. I'm sure there's enough. We are all very good developers here, and I'm sure if with the things that have been taken, initiatives taken coming onto ground, things should start getting better.
I think post RERA already, the bad apples are getting weeded out of the system, and it is all, the professional developers which are now in the sector. And I think ease of business is something which everyone is looking forward to from government. And as you
So
rightly
clearances have, yeah, so clearances have become a little easier. I would not
right.
say that it's definitely become easier. It's not what it was earlier. So all those things, so steps are being taken. The only thing is that we need to move fast, because otherwise there's going to be large scale destruction all around because of
That's true.
COVID.
And if government wants to, the housing for all, it's initiative, they want to address that, then that's how, if things get easier, like, the most important part, the finance, if that gets easier for the real estate sector, that will solve a lot of problems. Mr.
Lots of
Sarin,
problems.
lots of problems for the sector. Mr. Sarin, how has been your company's strategies? Because a lot of developers have faced a lot of challenges during these COVID times. So how did you plan your strategies, business continuity strategies for the present times, and going forward for next few years? How are you looking at your growth plans?
So first of all, we did not have any stress on our projects. We are fortunate. We have completed all our projects. We've handed over positions. So from the perspective of having a sword on my head that I have not completed a project, it's not there. However, going forward, and because of this reason, a lot of stress, a lot of developers are under a lot of stress. We know that. Everybody knows that. More importantly, there are a lot of buyers who are under a lot of stress. I had started pointing out this element about 3 years ago when I used to meet various private equity funds and bankers, that 4 years ago, that in my view, the problem is that the buyers who have, and they are, most of them are innocent buyers, many of them are badly stuck. First, they were stuck in incomplete projects. Second, they're stuck in the myriad of all the government forums, whether you take RERA, you take NCLT, you take high courts, you take Supreme Courts. We are all surrounded. They don't know what to do. And the legal system is such that it takes a lot of time for things to materialize. So as strategy, we have been actually concentrating on taking over some distressed projects from buyers who have been approaching us from time to time. And I've had many. I mean, I can't even tell you how many projects people have come in. Families, children, they have come and they've cried in front of me and saying that, please help us. We know that you will be able to help us. And that I want to help. There are certain things that now the government has come out with a distressed fund. You see, but it's just not that you cannot see returns all the time. You have to give opportunities of financing so that these projects should see the light of the day.
Right.
So we are working with various private equity funds. We are kind of in the process of tying up with them to make sure that we take over these projects. We are not looking at returns. We are happy with minimal returns. But what will happen is the sector will revitalize. When you start taking in and delivering these projects. So we have signed a few projects. Some of them are still under NCLT and they have yet to come out. Uh, but yeah, so that is one part of the strategy. We are actively working on that. About 6 to 8 projects have already been in principle signed and approved by us. So that is something very good. The other thing is that we are looking at start getting into warehousing at some point in time with some land that we have, which is actually not being used to unlock the potential of the land. So that is one. That is the other thing we are looking at. Stress-wise, I do not have major bank stress or major loan stress. Although we are also working with banks to have better condition for us also, so that we can concentrate on our capital or our reserves for the projects that we are going to be taking to build up our scale. So primarily, this is how we are dealing with. We are very happy. Our sales are reasonably well during this time. Fortunately, Kanal is doing very well. Amritsar is doing well. Meerut is a little slow, but it will also catch up. I think because of the lockdown, every weekend there used to be a lockdown. The people couldn't really go and see the property. But I think over a period of time, things will fine.
That's a great thing that you mentioned, that you are not only thinking as an individual player, as an individual real estate firm, but you're thinking more as an industry. If you can help others rather than thinking of revenue and, help the other players, it's going to be beneficial for the entire sector, and probably it's, working together to, bring everyone together. I think that is one of the biggest.
Absolutely. You're right. So you'll be amazed. While people think that, taking over a project is kind of, heart-wrenching and kind of becomes animosity between developers, it's not so. All the people, all the developers who I have been interacting with and their projects, we have fantastic relationship.
Right.
We are not there to cut each other. We are only there to help them out to move out and so that they can do better in their business.
Right.
I mean, I always tell people, first of all, there is no fight. We are together in this. We are all together in this. We have to, if the industry does well, we all do well. And how will it do well? Only when we support each other. So very simple, very easy way of working. And I'm very happy. We have very good relations with the private equity funds who have funded these projects, as well as or the banks or the NBFCs or the developers and the buyers, of course.
I think that's the takeaway of the entire conversation today, Mr. Sarin, that, if you work together and take the industry up, and I'm sure a lot of other developers will, take inspiration from your example and probably, work out on the same lines. One last question, I have to ask you, you're a finance expert as well. India's $5 trillion economy dream, $5 trillion economy dream. Prime Minister Modi is very optimistic that yes, we will reach that figure by 2024. A lot of analysts, Goldman Sachs revised their growth forecast for India, contraction from 14.8 to 10.3 now they are saying. What is your view, short and crisp? How do you see Indian economy going forward? Are we saying it too soon, or are we in the right direction in spite of the COVID challenges?
We are in the right direction. COVID has just a little setback, but I think it has also resulted in ample opportunities. And I think the government is really taking good steps of getting us on board. And I agree with Prime Minister. It may not be 24. I mean, of course, we are endeavor, but we are there. I mean, it is just going to be a little more time, and we will be there. We are one of the intellectual capital. We have ample resources. All we need is a good work culture. We need love and affection, and amongst people who are living together. And I'm telling you, we'll become all these factors are instrumental to make a country move forward towards the goal that one is seeking.
That's it. I think COVID has been a big learning curve for everyone, and as long as we make the best of this crisis, so I think we are on the right track. As you mentioned that yes, we are in the right direction. Thank you, Mr. Sarin, for sharing your views, your valuable views. I think we all had great learnings from what you shared with us. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. This was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.